25. Answer is 25, ma'am.
Yeah. We'll see for it. Please wait for the others to work out. Okay, so the elasticity is given as 1. We don't know what is the change in quantity demanded, so we'll keep it as an unknown variable. And change in price is rupees 2, right? The price was 8 rupee and it has increased to 10 rupee. Now, initial price was 8. At rupees 8, the consumer was purchasing 100 units. Okay, 100 units. Now, by cross multiplying, this is 4 and again 25. You will get change in quantity as 25. So most of you have given me the wrong answer. Your answer should have not been
75.
Wait.
75.
Please wait. Don't shout out the answers. So those who have given in the chat box 25, for your information, it's not 25. Why? Because the value which you have found out is only the change in quantity demanded. You are actually supposed to find out new quantity demanded. So when price has increased, obviously you are going to cut down your consumption. Earlier you was consuming 100 units, but now because of the increase in price, you are cutting down your consumption at the rate of 25. So 100 minus 25 is 75 should have been your answer. Some have given 125 also, that is also wrong. Here it is where you can apply the logic of your law of demand. When price is increasing, as a normal consumer, you will be consuming less of a commodity. So when price was 8, your consumption was 100, but when your price has come down to, has increased to 10 rupee, obviously you're going to cut down your consumption at the rate of 25 and your present consumption at rupees 10 is 75. And for your kind information, the option will be like this. Obviously, the first option is going to be 25. Second option is going to be 125. Third option is going to be 75. And the fourth option will be some particular answer, some unwanted answer. So be careful. This is where you have to apply your logic of learning the theory of law of demand here. Price increase leads to reduced consumption, and you are reducing the consumption at the rate of 25. Please don't shout out your answer. The thing is, you will be like familiar to it, but there will be many participants who are new to this. Okay, just put your answers in the chat box. It will be useful.
Answer is 75, right, madam?
Yeah, answer is 75. Many of you gave me 25, 125. So I hope the logic is clear to you. Okay, moving on to the next one. Price elasticity is done. Second one will be income elasticity. Okay, income elasticity. It is the same concept. Instead of change in price, we will be taking change in income of the consumer. Same concept. The pressure that is being applied over here is with respect to change in income of the consumer. So equation remains the same. Instead of change in price, we'll bring about change in income. So delta Q D with respect to delta Y into initial. Y stands for capital letter, Y stands for level of income with respect to initial quantity demanded. The only thing which you have to be very familiar over here is regarding the sign. For income elasticity and the next elasticity which we are going to discuss, positive and negative signs matter a lot. Positive sign shows that you are dealing either with the normal good or the luxury commodity. So when you get an answer between 0 and 1, it is a normal commodity. When you get an answer greater than 1, it is a luxury commodity. And negative value shows that the commodity under consideration falls under the category of inferior good. Okay, positive 0 and 1 value, normal commodity, luxury commodity greater than 1, inferior good is when you get a negative value. So sign is very important. Unlike the price elasticity, here sign should be considered. I'm just randomly giving you some numbers for easy calculation. Same equation, instead of change in price, you have to see what level of income consumers' income has changed to. The question is divided into two parts. One, you have to find the elasticity, and one, you have to find to which category it is falling. Okay. Different answers. Elasticity is equal to, see, demand fell from 125 to 100 units. There is a decline in demand of 25 units, right? And as a result, your why did this demand fall? Because your income increased from 1,000 to 1,000 to 50. So there is a positive change in your income. Income increased. So there is positive. Income increased from 1,000 to 1,000 to 50. Into initial income was 1,000 rupees. And at this 1,000 rupees, the consumer was purchasing 125 units. Fine. So you have, this is 10. And this is going to be 4 and 5. 4 by 5, negative 0.8. I told you sign matters. And this negative 0.8 shows that the commodity is an inferior good. The statement in the question itself is an example, or it describes what type of good it is. When your income is increasing, you're reducing the consumption of that commodity. Income moves in one direction, demand for that commodity moves in opposite direction. So how come you're getting a positive answer? They're moving in two different directions. So obviously you'll get a negative answer. So commodity is inferior good and the value of your income elasticity is 0.8, negative 0.8. 0.01, I don't know how you got that answer. 1.25, 0.125, some weird answers. Check where it has gone wrong. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the last elasticity under demand is cross elasticity. Here also sign matters. Be particular regarding the sign, except the first one, price elasticity. The other two elasticities take into consideration the sign of the change. The change is very important with respect to its positive and negative direction. Now, cross elasticity, yes, it's like this: the degree of responsiveness of change in quantity demanded of a good due to change in the price of its related commodity. Related commodity we had already seen, it can be either substitute or the normal commodity, right? So if you're looking forward to bring about or find out the value of cross elasticity of X commodity, then change in the price of Y is to be considered. If you're looking forward to get the value of excess demand cross elasticity, look forward to the changes in the price of Y, where X and Y is related. It can be either substitute or the complementary goods. So change in the demand of X with respect to change in the price of Y into initial price of Y and initial quantity demanded of X. Here it is small letter y. This means that you are taking into account commodity X and Y. So when you get positive, X and Y are related as substitute goods, and when it is negative, X and Y are said to be complementary goods. The positive and negative signs matter for cross elasticity as well. Find the value as well. Substitute goods. Okay. Any other answers? I hope everybody is working out. Okay. Here, a quantity demanded, cross elasticity of X, right? Cross elasticity of X. How did the change of elasticity, the quantity of X changed from 10 kg to 20 kg? So there is a positive movement of change in quantity with respect to change in price of Y. Y has increased from 5 to 10. So both are positive. There is an increase in demand of 10 kg. There is an increase in the price of the Y commodity at the rate of 5 rupee. Into initial price of Y is 5 rupee and initial quantity demanded when the price of Y is 5 is 10 kg of X. So you will get positive 1 as the answer. And as it is a positive answer, you will consider, you can say that X and Y are substitute goods. So 3 elasticities has been done. One is the price elasticity where sign doesn't matter. Income elasticity where positive negative signs matter because it helps you to understand what good we are discussing. Third one also, cross elasticity. Why is it important to take into account the negative and positive signs? It helps us to understand the relationship between the goods. So with this, we have come to the end of demand side. Kindly go through it. I'll give you just 2 minutes to find out if it is comfortable to you. And if so, we'll move on to what is the second half of the market force, which is supply.
Ma'am, quantity demanded of X is 25 kilo only. Like.
Yes, sir. What is your doubt?
The first sentence, if the price of good X is rupees 25, the quantity demanded is 25 kilos. But in the
So those who have taken this sentence as their information for calculating elasticity, see, you can see in the equation, we are bringing about the calculation of changes in quantity demanded of X with respect to change in price of Y. The first sentence is given for the sake of creating confusion so that you get a wrong answer. First statement is unwanted one. It is only telling you that when the price of X is 25 rupees, the consumer is purchasing 25 kgs of that commodity. But how to calculate cross elasticity? You are comparing the price of related commodity and seeing whether you have to purchase X or not, right? So what is actually required for your calculation is only the latter half of the sentence or the situation. The first sentence is actually given so that you get a wrong answer and you claim to have a negative mark. Is that clear?
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
So any confusions regarding demand? Okay, so I'll take it as a no, it's clear. We'll move on to the second half, which is supply. Supply is, as I told you, you have to consider yourself as a seller or a supplier and put everything what we have learned in demand in its opposite way. So whatever we have seen in demand, if you put that in the opposite sense, you will get the explanation of supply. Now, what supply is? What does it mean is what quantity of a commodity a seller is ready to supply. Quantity of a good a seller is ready to supply in the market at a given price. See, supply has nothing to do with sales. Okay, not equal to sales. Keep in your mind, we are not considering sales as a proxy to supply. Supply is only what, as a seller, I am wishing to sell in the market. It is not necessary that if I bring 100 kgs of rice, it all should be sold in the market. Sometimes consumers will be demanding less of it. Sometimes consumers may require, I bought only 100 kg, but there is like 150 kg of demand for that commodity in the market. So supply is at a given price, what quantity I'm planning to sell. Planning to sell is only supply. Fine. Now, what are the factors that influence the supply? Consider yourself as a seller and tell me what are the important factors that can influence your supply. Price. Okay, price of the commodity. Can you elaborate with that with an example? How is price related to your supply? Okay, cost of the good, labor, fine.
If price increases, supply decreases.
Supply decreases. Price increases, supply
Increase.
There is a positive relationship between price and supply of a commodity. That is a famous law of supply. We had learned opposite relationship in demand, but here we keep all other factors constant. We say that the quantity of a commodity, supplied of a commodity is directly related to price. Price of a good. Okay, when price increases, supply also increases, and when price falls, supply also falls. That is a positive relationship. We'll take the same hypothetical table where I gave you price as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and supply is initially low. It will be a trigger or an encouragement for a seller or a supplier when you try to increase its quantity, increase its price, leading to your increased supply. So this, when you are adopting on a graph of two-dimensional graph, you have quantity supplied on the x-axis and price on the y-axis. As a result, your supply curve will be a positively sloping line. Clear? So ceteris paribus, we keep all of the factors remaining the same. We have what is known as upward sloping supply curve. Okay, cost of labor, that is correct. Cost of labor, or we can say in common, cost of production, not only labor, no, you have various factors of production, land, labor, capital, organization. You are borrowing money from a bank and starting your business. If banks are charging higher rate of interest, it is going to affect your production, right? Cost of production, laborers are charging higher wages or salary, that also affects your production. So cost of production. Government policy, government can sometimes relax your production, put restrictions on your production. And the state of technology, what method you are applying. Okay, cost, then government policy, government regulation, government policy. Other factors, as we said, COVID pandemic is best example, seasonal changes are best example, price of related commodities. Okay, price of related commodity, here we'll detail it. Price of related commodity is when you are having substitute and complementary goods. Price of related goods, substitute. It was positively related for demand, here it is negatively related. Complementary goods, it is positively related. Okay, see, when price of tea increases, quantity supplied of coffee falls. That is the reason why we are having negative relationship between substitute goods and complementary goods. Okay, substitute goods of tea and coffee. Complementary goods is when price of bread increases, quantity supplied of jam also increases. Am I clear? So substitute goods, in case of what do we say, in case of substitute goods in terms of supply, they are negatively related. In terms of complementary goods, they are positively related. Hope I am clear. Cost of production, when factors of production are charging higher cost, or when, as somebody said, labor, then banks charging higher interest, raw materials are being expensive, this is going to have a negative effect on your supply or your production. When they are charging higher, you will not be in a position of producing more, you will cut down your production. Fine. For example, you get laborers at a very cheap price, you get raw materials at a very cheap price, it will be more encouraging for you to produce more. So it's a negative relationship. Now, state of technology also, you are using better techniques of production, updated softwares, etc. Will it help you to produce more or reduce your production? So state of technology and the level of production is positively related. More production can be done if new methods, updated methods of technology are applied. If you're using still outdated methods of technology, it will only help you to reduce your production. Government policies, tightened policy can be applied, relaxed policy can be applied. New taxes being imposed on businesses, or taxes are increased, how is it going to help you?
Get to supply, madam.
Okay, it's going to cut down your production. Okay, new taxes being applied, it is helping you to cut down your production because the cost of production rises, and the what do we say, the cost of production increasing, this causes the producer to produce lesser. And other factors, seasonal changes, you have to vary your answers according to your Okay, just a second. Just a second, okay? Just a minute. Okay. Fine. So complementary, positive, and substitute negatives. Is the factors of supply clear?
Madam,
Yes.
madam, prices of related commodities are, please can I explain, madam?
See, so if the commodities are substitute, when it is negative, substitute are they are descripting or they are displaying a negative relationship. Why? Because when a seller is selling tea and if the price of tea is increasing, the seller will be in a position of supplying more of it and less of its related commodity in terms of substitute goods. See, I am a tea seller. I will be also providing coffee. When I come to know that tea is asking for more or tea is having higher prices, when the customers come, will I ask them to have coffee or tea? First thing that comes out of my mouth is, please take tea. Tea is available here. Coffee, we don't have it, right? So you will be selling more of tea and less of coffee is supplied. Right? It goes opposite. When price of tea falls, you'll be supplying more of coffee respective to tea's price. When coffee's price is relatively higher and price of tea is lesser, you will be in a position of supplying more of coffee. Okay. Complementary, same way as a bread seller. I have a confectionery or a bakery. I'm selling bread. When price of bread is higher, I know when price of bread is higher, I have to stock enough of bread. So when bread is being stocked much, I will have to supplement it with some complementary, right? I have to sell it. I know that it is not being taken only bread as it is. It will be demanded along with jam. So if there will be customers looking forward to purchase bread and they see that jam is not there in my bakery, I'm sure that he is not going to purchase bread at least. So that is positively related and the next one is negatively related. Okay.
Got it.
Okay.
So supply, the first initial part is done. We are moving on to the next one, which is the changes in supply, which is very similar to that of changes in supply, which is very similar to that of changes in demand. First one is the change in price, and other factors remaining constant. Okay, other factors remaining constant, changes in price and other factors remaining constant, which is leading to same concept of expansion and contraction. So instead of the downward sloping supply curve, demand curve, we'll be taking an upward sloping supply curve. Okay, price is a hypothetical situation of P1 and then Q1. Then you can see when price falls, the supplier will be cutting down his supply of P2 and Q2. This is known as contraction. In demand, price falling or reduction had led to what is known as expansion. Now in supply, price increases No, price falling is leading you to contract your supply. Okay, opposite of what we have learned in demand. Here, when price increases, the seller will be in a position of supplying you more. Okay, this is leading to what is known as expansion. Same concept, here you have to apply the logic, which is better known as expansion and contraction. Apply the logic of law of supply here. Price increases leads to expansion and price reduction leads to contraction. The movement of the supplier on the same supply curve is nothing but the expansion and contraction, same as that of demand. Demand is just opposite. When price fell, it led to expansion. When price increased, it led to contraction. Okay, change in price, other factors remaining the same. Second change in supply is when other factors change. Other factors change and price remain constant. This leads to what is known as the shifting of the supply curve. So there are various factors that influences the supply. It's an upward sloping curve. Okay, price is the same and supplied quantity is Q1 initially. It can go to Q2, which is higher than what the seller was usually supplying. This leads to a rightward shift of the supply curve. And leftward shift of the supply curve is Q3, leading to the lesser supply quantity S3. Okay. Fine. What could be the possible reason for rightward and leftward shift? What could be the possible for rightward and leftward shift?
Relaxation in tax.
Yeah, price, no, the government is helping you by providing lesser tax rates on your commodities, then definitely supplier will be in a position of supplying more of it. And same way, increase the taxes causes leftward shift of the supply curve. Then you are using better techniques of production. You are updating your machines, updating your softwares, updating the skills of the laborers from time to time. This will help you to produce more. So supply increases to the right. Price of complementary commodity increases. Which direction will supply curve shift? Price of complementary commodity increases. To which direction will the supply curve shift?
Downward.
No, complementary here is positively related. Okay, so rightward shift or the downward only. Here downward means rightward shift. Okay, upward here is leftward shift. Fine, what you said is right. Downward, or you can say rightward shift. Okay, so price of complementary commodity increases means there is a positive change. Complementary in supply are positively related, so it shifts towards a right or downward movement. And when complementary's price falls, it goes up, leftward shift. Am I clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so these are the factors that causes shifting in the supply, same as that of demand, but here please apply the logic of how all the factors are influencing the supply and see to it to which direction this is shifting. Last part of supply is your elasticity of supply. Same concept. Equation and respond of change in quantity change in price of the commodity. Same equation, same definition. Only thing is the numerator, elasticity of supply is the factor. Elasticity of supply is equal to delta QS with respect to delta P, change in quantity and change in price, into initial price of X commodity with respect to initial quantity supplied. Just one question here, you don't have to take into account the price sign, because the sign of the answer. Why? Because what do we say, the supply is always going to have a positive change in it. It's moving in the same direction. Price increasing in one direction, supply increasing in the same direction. Find the elasticity of supply when okay, so it's a direct question. Elasticity is equal to change in quantity of 100. No, yeah, 100 units. Increment of 100 to 200 and 150 to 250. So price has also increased at the same 100 rupees, right? Into initial price is 150 and initial quantity is 100. So 150 by 100, which is 3 by 2, 1.5. Is that clear? Positive answer only because they move in the same direction. Okay. Now our intention is to bring demand and supply together. Demand and supply together to find out the market equilibrium. Okay. Market equilibrium is the point where demand is equal to supply. We are going to find out how price of a commodity is being determined. Price determination of a good. Price determination of a good. This takes place when the price of the commodity is decided when demand is equal to supply. See, I have individually drawn the demand schedule and the price schedule, supply schedule with the help of the price. So price is increasing from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And we had seen the demand is like falling when the price increases. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And supply is like, it is, sorry, I kept it upside down. Just a second. This is your supply and this is your demand, right? So price is lower, your demand will be very high. And as and when the price increases, demand falls. So you can see here at this point at rupees 3, you can see the equilibrium. Equilibrium is attained. This is known as market equilibrium, and this is the equilibrium price. Rupees 3 is the equilibrium price, and 6 units are being sold. 6 units being sold is demand equal to that of supply. This is known as market equilibrium quantity. So equilibrium price is rupees 3, equilibrium quantity is rupees. Equilibrium, what do we say? Just a second. Yeah, equilibrium price is rupees 3 and equilibrium quantity is 6 units. If we draw that on the diagram, you can see here quantity and price. So you have downward sloping of the demand curve and upward sloping of the supply curve. Okay. Downward sloping of the demand curve and upward sloping of the supply curve, and the point where demand is intersecting, you have the equilibrium price being decided and equilibrium quantity being decided. Fine. Equilibrium price being decided and equilibrium quantity. That point where demand is equal to supply is known as equilibrium point. And if there is any change in the price of the commodity, it will lead to what is known as disequilibrium. See, price over and above the equilibrium price is leading to a situation of disequilibrium. Disequilibrium. Okay. So at one point, you can see here that if the price is higher than the equilibrium price, supply is greater than demand. And when price is lesser than the equilibrium price, you can see here demand is greater than supply. When supply is greater than demand, it is known as excess supply. And when demand is greater than supply, you can say it as excess demand. Am I clear? So when price is lesser than equilibrium price, it leads to a situation known as excess demand or shortage of the commodity in the market. And when equilibrium price is greater than, the price is greater than the equilibrium price, it leads to a situation known as excess supply. Am I clear?
Clear, madam.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. I'm erasing the board. Next one is regarding the shifting. Okay, changes in demand and supply due to shifting. We'll take 3 instances. First instance is changes in demand while we keep supply constant. Okay, changes in demand and we are expecting the supply remaining the same. We have already seen what are the different reasons upon which the demand is changing. When the income of the consumer changes, when the government is putting some restrictions and all, when the family side increases or falls, this causes the demand for the commodity to change accordingly. Supply of the commodity is constant here. There is no change in supply. If there is a shifting in demand, we can see what are the changes that takes place in equilibrium price and quantity. So change in demand increases, rightward shift of the demand curve or the upward shift of the demand curve, supply remaining constant, equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity increases. Equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity increases when demand is shifting towards the right and there is no change in supply. Downward slope in demand curve or leftward shift of the demand curve, decrease in demand brings down the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. Rightward and leftward shift, we already know why it happens. Government putting more restriction causes leftward shift. Was a glitch. Please wait. Am I audible?
Yes, madam.
Something happened to my laptop. So we were looking forward towards the shifting, right?
1 second. Equilibrium.
Just a
Okay.
second. There is some problem with my laptop. Please wait a minute. Okay. Yeah. Could you please repeat it?
Previous slide, please, ma'am. Equilibrium.
Can I just log out and log in? I won't be able to get the previous slide. Something is like got stuck with my screen. Okay, please wait for a second.
Okay.
Remains constant. I hope the instances are all clear to you. We'll see the same changes with respect to change in supply and keeping the demand constant. Okay. Price and quantity decided. Rightward shift of the supply curve or downward shift of the supply curve means there is more commodity being supplied in the market, maybe due to various reasons like government giving them tax relaxation, complementary prices have increased. This causes the supply curve to shift towards right, and this is a rightward shift of the supply curve, causing you to have lesser equilibrium price and higher quantity. Same way, supply is falling or reduced supply, leftward shift of the supply curve. This causes the price to increase and equilibrium quantity to fall. So leftward shift of the supply curve will have increased price and reduced equilibrium quantity. You can just relate this to the agricultural season. No, you know, when there is season of any particular vegetable, fruits, etc., you will get it in larger quantities. At that time, what will be the price of the commodity?
Yes,
Very less, right? But when you look for that commodity during an off season, what will be the price of that commodity?
more, madam.
More. Its availability will be also less, right? You're looking for jackfruit during off season of jackfruit, its price is too high. Looking for mangoes during mango season, you can find it everywhere and its price is going to be very low. Got it? So you can relate everything to a real life situation and just logically apply. We have got real life situations to a larger extent that helps us to connect the studies of economics, especially when you're learning about demand and supply. I hope this is clear. Okay. Third instance, when both the factors change. First instance, we were dealing with demand changing, supply constant. Second instance, supply changing and demand constant. And this is the third instance where both are changing. So please don't shout out the answer. This is a question. Give the answers, put the question number and give the answers in the chat box. Those who have already attended, please allow others to attend. There is 4 cases where both demand and supply are likely to change. The initial demand curve and supply curve is intersecting at point 1. Okay, demand curve and supply curve is intersecting at point 1. Equilibrium point is 1. There are various reasons which cause a shifting of demand and supply. Look at question number 1. Demand for commodity X, which is a normal good, holding everything else constant, assume that income rises and price of a factor of production also rises. What could be the possible change in the equilibrium point? Are you all working? What is the answer for the first one? Put the answer in the chat box. I couldn't find even one answer. This kind of case studies you can definitely expect. Can you see the slide? I mean the screen. Is it visible?
Yes, madam.
Okay. So you can expect a 5 mark or 6 marks minimum of graphical illustration like this one, where they will give you the case study and it's up to you to find out the answers accordingly. So first one, answer is 7. Why? Because income increases, supply also increases. So income increases mean demand curve will shift to D2. They have already mentioned X is a normal commodity. So supply demand increases to D2 and supply also increases to S2. So D2 and S2 is intersecting at the point 7.
Madam, you are not audible, ma'am.
Not audible to all?
No, madam. Clear, madam.
Okay. First question, answer is 7. New demand curve is D2, new supply curve is S2. So demand curve and supply curve is intersecting at the point 7. Okay. Second one, we are analyzing the market for good Z. Price of its complementary good Y declines. So, and at the same time, there is a technological advancement as well. How will you elaborate your new equilibrium? Second question, give the answer.
Second, 2, madam.
Okay. Price of complementary good Y declines. Y declines means the demand is being influenced. Demand is being influenced. So negative relationship. Complementary goods price falls. Demand for a commodity increases. So demand curve is D2. Technological advancement. There is a technological development in the production of the commodity. So supply curve is shifting to S2. That is also 0.7. Okay, D2 and S2 is intersecting at 0.7. Okay, third one. Can you see the third one? Okay, now it's visible. In Maharashtra, during rain, there is a problem with the rice crop. And what point in the figure above is most likely to be the new equilibrium, price and quantity?
Four, madam.
Please put your answers in the chat box, please. And please wait for the others to give the answers.
Madam, one doubt in second question.
Yeah.
Ma'am, here it's like price of complement good declines. So accordingly, the demand of Z will increase, but
Yeah.
due to technological advancement, the price of Z will decrease. So
No. You shouldn't think. See, in first case, when there is a technological advancement, is it going to affect your price first or your supply first?
supply.
Yeah,
supply
eventually only they are going to see. Do you think I am producing something? I bought a new machine. Do you think from tomorrow onwards I'm going to charge 100 rupees extra for my thing? I'll try to increase my production and slowly only it is going to affect my price, right?
Okay.
So when I bring a new technology, first thing I will look forward is to increase my production. So supply will increase. Third one answer. The third one, there is heavy rains. So due to heavy rains, we know that supply is getting affected. Supply is getting affected. There is a crop failure. This causes the supply curve to shift towards left. And you have to take in account there is no change in demand at all. They have not mentioned anything regarding demand. As long as it is not mentioned in the question, please take everything as it is. Demand, they have not mentioned anything about demand. So we take demand in its original point as D1 only, and supply has reduced to S3, which is D1 and S3 intersecting at 3. Okay, D1 and S3 intersecting at 3. Last question. Okay, last question, fourth one. We'll wind up with this. Fourth one is consumers are expecting price of some automobiles to increase next year. So it is obviously going to influence your demand, right? So demand is shifting towards right. When price is expected to rise in the future, you will be consuming more of it today. So demand is D2. And obviously, from a seller perspective, you will wait until the price increases to increase your supply. So supply is going to remain the same. So D2, the new demand curve, and S1, the original supply curve, is intersecting at the 0.5. Am I clear?
Please repeat, madam.
See, last question is, when you are expecting an increase of price of any commodity, what will be your intention of purchasing it today? Especially when it is a durable commodity like comfortable goods like car, your electronic equipments, etc. You will increase your consumption, right? When you increase your consumption, demand curve shifts towards right. But supply is not mentioned here. They did not say anything about supply. So we keep supply constant as S1, S1 supply curve and D2 demand curve intersecting at 0.5. Okay. So I have completed the second chapter as well, demand and supply to its fullest. Kindly go through our notes, PPTs. PPT and notes you should depend only at the end of the classes, just for the case of revision. Now attend your classes well, rely more on your reference book Macmillan and the notes which you have taken down. And kindly let me know if you have any problem or queries regarding the same, and we'll see to it. Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.